We here at NYPTV like to feature the most skilled, talented and charming individuals, and today is no exception.
Such as people who can do more with a deck of cards than just play games.
Like blackjack, poker and local favourite Tai Chi.
And they can flourish cards.
What is card flourishing?
I thought you'd never ask. Enjoy!
Cardistry is an art of card flourishing. Today, we are going to meet a group of talented cardists, the Virts, who are well known locally and internationally.
11 years ago, I've been hanging out with Huron for quite a while since we were both getting into magic and flourishing around the same time.
2002, I think.
We wanted more people to know about this thing because not as many people know what it was back then. They just thought it was like, whenever you would do a flourish, people would be like, oh, magic is it?
Yeah,
like,
but magic with no magic.
Magic with no magic. We wanted to make a little short film for this film competition that I found out about, where you could win like cash prizes and like a Canon XL2, I think.
We thought that it would just like most definitely win this competition.
Yeah, but looking back on it, we're like, why?
Yeah, it's like
it was pretty bad. While we didn't win the competition like we had hoped to, the good thing that came out of it is that it jump-started us working together, and this created the foundation and initiative for Virtuoso going forward down the line. And call it this fate or karma, but like nearly 10 years later, we actually did have a documentary that came out last year that did pretty much what we wanted to do and more.
That was by Discovery Channel. Having them approach us instead, and say like, hey, we want to do this documentary on you, and it turned out to be like the first documentary on cardistry.
One of the first card flourishes I learned was this thing called a ribbon spread.
I can show you what it looks like in the hands. Like this is called a lip pull spread, which uses pressure. And a ribbon spread is where you kind of just spread it on a table. But the beauty of it is that you can like pick it up, you can flip it back and forth.
It took an ordinary object that I thought, was just this static inert thing that I thought I knew everything about, and then it did something with it that opened this door in my mind for the possibilities of what could be done with this object.
It's really about perspective just widening. Like you look at a deck of cards and you think the only thing that you can do with it is play games or do some card tricks. But you start seeing different qualities like the way they spread or the way they spring or the way they pivot. And so that kind of just opened my mind. So this is flicker. So just for your reference, this is the one card tour. For us at the beginning, it was just kind of like the both of us. There'll be this healthy competition that's going on. So I remember I had a notebook, and in one of the pages, right, I had a list, and the list wrote stuff I do better than Kevin. And I remember there was one day, because I always have this notebook, it has all my ideas inside, right? And then Kevin was like, oh, that's a cool notebook. I'm like, oh, and then he grabs it, and then he opens it, and he's like, oh, what is this? This stuff I do better than Kevin. And I was just like, nothing. So I think one of the things that really struck us only last year was that we realized we were the first company to just solely focus on cardistry. So it wouldn't be like, oh, here's some cardistry decks and then here's a magic trick, it was just pure focus. And what that led to was just many other memorable moments as a byproduct of that focus at the beginning. So we were like, okay, let's just make sure that this shuffling thing with no magic can somehow stand on its own 2 feet. And eventually that led to us going, hey, what if there was a deck of cards that would just visually accentuate every card flourish, from spins to pivots to fans, like everything. And that became the first deck. Perhaps the most memorable thing about all of this is that pure focus on cardistry has led to all these special moments that we can say, that risk just paid off.
When you've been doing this for so long, you kind of get used to it. But if you take a step back and you go like, I shuffle cards for a living, I have a really good life and a good job, and I get to work with my friends. It's not like a big wow moment, but it is something that it happens every day. It's something I'm very, very grateful for.